mga tao. This is INCRadio. Anywhere in the world, though, we are always together, connected to everyone. Life will be better. Tayo na, sama-sama halina sa INCRadio International na. Ito, palaging konektado ka sa INCRadio na.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
You are listening and watching INC Radio. It's good evening here in the Philippines and good morning, Washington, D.C. Yes, Sister Grace and Brother Ivan. How are you po?
Good morning, Brother Jeff.
Okay, and glad to see you, Sister. And we'll be turning over po the next 30 minutes of our live broadcast to INC Radio, Washington, D.C.
Onward to further victory, that's the plan. There's no stopping us now. There's no stopping us now. No one can.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to INC Radio WDC Satellite Studio. I'm Sister Grace, and my co host is Brother Ivan.
Good morning, everyone.
And we're talking about sniffling through spring, conquering allergies. Without much ado, let's pass it to our main discussion, part one. Brother Ivan, take it away.
All right, everybody. Good morning. Hopefully, nobody's sniffling this morning. Maybe if you're sniffling, you got some tea or maybe some tissues. But anyways, right, with spring coming on, and a lot of pollen is coming out. It's maybe a little, I don't know wherever you are, but I know a lot of people that I know are getting a bunch of allergies. So today with us, we have a very, very special guest, who is Sister Melanie. Hi, Sister Melanie. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, Brother Ivan. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning to talk to us a little bit about our allergies. Would you be able to let us know what local congregation you're from and maybe what you do for a living?
Sure. Hi, I'm Sister Melanie Mendoza. I'm from the locale of Baltimore, Maryland. I am a licensed physician here in the state of Maryland. I am board certified in family medicine. I practice at a local urgent care in Baltimore City, and I'm very happy to be here. Such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is also ours that you're here today. So let's get started, right? I know you practice family medicine, so maybe allergies and these symptoms are something that you often see with your patients. What are some common causes of these allergies or maybe these symptoms?
Yes, of course. Common causes of allergies are, of course, very well known, notorious, the pollens, pet or animal dander, dust mites, and more recently, the warming climate giving way to very short, dry winter, a somewhat early spring, very hot, prolonged summer, and very erratic fall weather. These can all contribute to the allergies. And of course, the common symptoms we know are itchy, watery eyes, itchy nose, itchy throat. Sometimes our ear canals even itch, the sneezing, the stuffy, and the runny nose, very classic symptoms.
Right. So with all of those like symptoms that I know a lot of people are facing today, right? Is there some sort of remedy or some sort of like something maybe we could buy from the store to help with those remedies or to help with those symptoms?
Sure. So, common home remedies that we can do. Um, Wash our pets at least twice a week, especially if we take them out a lot or they love being outdoors. Moist dusting to lower the dust mites, and also frequent vacuuming to help reduce the pet dander. Impermeable bed covers, really important. And air filters, air filtration. Keep the windows closed. And of course, if symptoms worsen when we're doing outdoor activity or when we're doing yard work, mowing the lawn, consider wearing face masks. I have patients that do that, and also some of them even wear goggles when they are mowing the lawn. Also, another important thing is to change to when you get home, you change your clothing, take a shower when you get home. That will also reduce the pollen or allergens that may be attached to us. Now,
Mhm.
as far as medications, there are a lot of over the counter medications that really can be helpful. Top notch and foremost of these are the nasal steroid sprays, such as fluticasone or Flonase, or antihistamine nasal sprays, such as azolastine, or we probably know it on the commercials as Astapro. These are very helpful and best started approximately about 2 weeks prior to the anticipated start of symptoms, but they all can still work even when we have symptoms, but preferably at the early onset. So you notice you're starting to have some itching in your eyes, a little bit of sneezing. Go ahead and start your nasal spray, your preferred nasal spray.
Mhm.
There are also over the counter oral antihistamines such as loratadine, um, fexofenadine, cetirizine. These are all over the counter. They come in generic forms, but be aware of the side effects, as some are sedating. And of course, always check to make sure they don't have any kind of interaction with the medications that one may be already taking.
Mhm.
So the key thing is the timing. Know your triggers. Make sure you recognize the early symptoms, the early onset of your symptoms that I've alluded to earlier. And starting these over the counter medications early can help reduce the severity of or the progression of your symptoms.
Interesting, interesting. And I have a question here for you. So, right, I think a lot of our viewers here might have like small babies. Is it something? Is it advisable maybe to try to figure out if a baby is it even possible to see if a baby has an allergy? And is there some remedies or prescriptions that doctors usually give to like really small babies as well?
So the cutoff age for these over the counter medications are 2 years old.
Hmm.
2 years old. Keep that
2 years
in
old.
mind.
Interesting. Okay.
Any the babies younger than that, they have to consult the pediatrician.
Mhm.
The most that I would even give to infants, and that's 2 years or lower, is a
Mhm.
saline nasal spray.
Mhm.
That's really all. And because these medications do have side effects,
Mhm.
so the cutoff age is 2 years old.
Okay, that's good advice because I know there's a lot of worried parents out there that's coming into the coming in here to the spring, right? So I know that there are many sicknesses. I think there's a lot of sicknesses out there that kind of replicate like allergies, for example, or cold, or maybe asthma. I know my wife has pretty bad asthma sometimes, and it seems like it's allergies, but it's not. How do we differentiate between those sicknesses amongst each other?
Very good question. So, how do we differentiate? Well, let me be honest with you that, as I already mentioned earlier, the classic allergy symptoms. However, there may be some overlap of these symptoms with that of a cold, sometimes even asthma. But in general, cold symptoms may be associated with some fever, there may be some body aches or headaches, mild fatigue, the nasal drainage or the eye drainage. In allergy, clear, watery. But with a cold, sometimes can be a little bit thicker, a little bit viscid. So be aware of that. Now, throat pain, that more likely can be more towards a cold. Hoarseness, that can be more towards a cold. It's also called laryngitis. And
Mhm.
of course, coughing. But like I said, keep in mind there's overlap to these symptoms. Now, with asthma, The more prominent symptoms and signs are the following, but not limited to: wheezing, tightness in the chest, shortness of breath. There's definitely coughing with asthma, and it may be dry, maybe a little bit productive. And the like I said, the overlap is definitely there. However, make sure that if someone has already a known diagnosis of asthma, be ready with your rescue inhalers, and that way, because that is the only way to alleviate your symptoms.
Are there specific symptoms where we can tell ourselves like, hey, it's time to go to the doctor or time
Sure,
to
of
seek help?
course. Yes, always there's always red flags in medicine. So the red flag symptoms that indicate immediate medical attention are the following: difficulty of breathing, chest pain, facial or lip swelling. If you feel lightheaded or you feel faint-ish, if you have large diffuse hives or welts, um, that sensation almost like a, a, um, a very tight cough, and you notice yourself rapidly breathing, those are red flags. Now, there are also other unusual symptoms. A few years ago, I had a group of teenagers come to the urgent care I work at, bringing their one friend. They were out doing ATV, out in the cornfields, and one of them just present initially had just itchy, watery eyes as they were riding into the cornfields, and then rubbed his eyes so vigorously to the point that the conjunctiva, which is the white of the eye, was so swollen. So that brought them into the urgent care. So those are unusual symptoms, and those need to be looked at right away.
Interesting. Is there a what if somebody just tried to wait it out? Is that possible?
I'm not sure that one would wait out, especially if their eyes, the conjunctiva is already like almost like ballooning out.
Uh-huh.
That actually would trigger them to bring him in. So
Right, right. I know some very stubborn people out there who will wait until they're at death's door before they seek help from a doctor. So I think is what question I had for you, Sister Melanie. What's the difference between like emergency and urgent care? I guess maybe sometimes when people hear urgent care, they're like, I don't need to go there because they think about the ambulance and everything like that. But that, from my understanding, there's a stark difference between the two, right?
so it is really, I can give you the difference between the two, but it's really the subjective feeling of the patient that will make them decide to go to an urgent care or the emergency room. But true emergencies are as follows: that classic chest pain of a heart attack that's associated with the sweatiness, that difficulty breathing, classic what we call, hand to the chest. These are classic 911 ER strokes. The numbing sensation. I mean, I know we're out of topic, but
Mhm.
numbness feeling. Don't wait. Go to the emergency room because there is a time frame to treat stroke and immediate care and emergency care. Of course, traumatic falls, head injuries, those really need to be in the emergency room. But of course, some people are afraid to go to the ER. They may go to the urgent care first, which is not a bad idea at all. We can always call the 911. But like I said, chest pains and chest pains are the classic chest pains of a heart attack.
Mhm.
And of course, to bring us back to the topic of allergies, uh, and this is a different kind of allergic reaction than what we're talking about. These are usually like the bee sting allergies, or immediately there's a huge, swelling in the face, a tightness in the chest, and
Mhm.
they already gave themselves what's called an EpiPen. These need to be brought to the emergency room. Very young children who have severe asthma attack, again, sort of related to allergies, are out there playing, in the grassy area, and then all of a sudden they come in running, or kind of somewhat pale or even kind of ashen in appearance. These kids need to go to the ER. You don't wait, you call the 911. So again, we can go on with the litany of presentation, but these are very important. Food allergies, another one. Peanut allergies. Some
Mhm.
peanut may not be identified as an ingredient, but for some reason it contaminated or somehow made it to the food that is served, and suddenly there's this kind of this choking or the tightness sensation. They need to be taken to the ER. Call 911.
All right. Yes, yes. I know that there's a lot of people that just aren't willing to seek help, but it's great that you're here to try to advocate at least that it's okay to seek help, especially if you're starting to see really bad symptoms. But anyways, we're gonna go over to our Grace, Sister Grace.
Yes, Brother Ivan, we'll have a station promo.
Nakikinig kayo sa Iglesia ni Cristo Radio, DCEM 954, ang tinig ng katotohanan.
INCRadio New Zealand Satellite Studio marks its 8th anniversary. As we celebrate this significant milestone, it's the perfect time to reflect on our journey and reminisce our cascade of memories. Come and join us here in INC Radio New Zealand Satellite Studio this Sunday, 28th of April 2024, 6 o'clock p.m. New Zealand Standard Time, 2 o'clock p.m. Philippine Time. See you then!
Take a moment to prioritize your own well-being and happiness. Treat yourself with the same care and gentleness that you would offer to a friend. Embrace self-love and remember that you are enough. Join us this Sunday on April 28, 2024 at 8 p.m. Central European Summer Time, or Monday on April 29, 2024 at 2 a.m. Philippine Standard Time, as we take a moment to be kind to ourselves and as we share our self-care tips and tricks. See you there!
You are listening to Iglesia ni Cristo Radio, the voice of truth.
Well, well, congratulations, New Zealand, in your 8th year anniversary. When we return, we're going to discuss more on this part two. Please don't go away. We'll be right back. And after hearing these messages.
Meet the participants and see the highlights of the Himig ng Kaligtasan 2024 CFO edition in the Ecclesiastical District of Italy North. See you this Sunday, April 28 at 7 p.m. Central European Summer Time, Monday, April 29 at 1 a.m. Philippine Standard Time on INC Radio, Italy North Satellite Studio.
Subscribe to INC Radio DZM's YouTube channel to watch our previous episodes.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to INC Radio Washington, D.C. Satellite Studio. Let's give a quick shout out to those who've tuned in so far today. So I've got Sister Grace. Sister Grace was literally on here. Sister Grace, she says, advance happy birthday to my son, Carl Renier in Maine. Sorry if I butchered your name, but stay safe with your family, says your mom. Stay safe with your family. Sister Eliza Yumo says, happy wedding anniversary po, Ka Fernan and Ate Felma. That's actually my parents, Ka Fernan and Ka Felma. Thank you for the shout out and greetings to my parents, well, Ka Eliza. And then PB, I forgot who PB was, but says hashtag Bowie. Happy viewing to our teachers. Happy birthday po to Sister Myrna Natividad. And Lisa Soriano says, happy belated birthday po to Sister Leslie Santos. And then Danilo Yumal says, happy birthday, Sister Lillian. And see, we have Lay Watley says, good morning po, Sister Lilbeth Talons and family. And I see brother Matt Talons is here active in our chat. So thank you for joining us all here today. So coming back in, right? We're talking about allergies, and maybe symptoms and maybe some advice here. And we have our sister Melanie joined with us today. So I myself, I came from Oregon, right? That's all the way out there in the West Coast. And I've heard that there are seasonal differences or changes, and maybe there's more allergies in one place to the other. But Sister Melanie, do you have advice for those who moved from the West Coast to the East Coast are now suffering from allergies, or maybe just people moving around, maybe even internationally?
Yes, of course. That's a very common issue and presentation of patients. They may ask, I moved to Maryland a few years ago from California, somehow developed allergies, or why am I just now having allergy symptoms and I didn't have them when I was younger? So please keep in mind that allergens are everywhere. With that said, West Coast areas such as Seattle, San Francisco, Portland have lower pollen levels compared to other parts of the country. Now, here in the East Coast, we have more high tree, weed, and grass pollens, which are notoriously very allergenic. The coastal areas may have fewer tree pollen allergens. Now, also, different plant families share similar proteins that trigger allergies. So, one may develop allergy symptoms later in life or develop new allergies after relocating, whether they're within the United States, from outsides, or from US leaving. So it is important to pay attention to these information. And I would also recommend looking at the pollen counts on a daily or at least a weekly basis to prepare us for the triggers. Now, I'd like to add that if one is compliant with doing all the basic remedies, using the nasal spray and taking over the counter medication daily, but without any improvement or sometimes even worsening of the symptoms, for at least give it about a week or at least 2 weeks, it is very reasonable to seek consult with a healthcare provider, as there are prescription medications that can be added to the basic regimens that we are already in that are already in place that we're already doing in order to help alleviate the symptoms. Now, I kind of looked at those other questions on the hashtag. I'd like to uh, briefly discuss chronic cough, which is usually a dry, irritating, somewhat minimally productive cough without any other associated symptoms of the red flags that I mentioned earlier. That has, and this should, we define this in the medical field as lasting for 8 weeks in adults and 4 weeks in the children. Now, of course, there's a wide variety of reasons for this symptom and may not just be from a respiratory or allergy or an infectious cause. So, by that time, it's really good to see the doctor. I also noted another question about natural remedies. Pardon me, but I really am very sorry that I am not an expert on this subject of natural remedies. I advocate for it if, however, my patients ask me about it. I have nothing against it, but make sure that these products um, uh, uh, are um, well studied or have some good reputation coming from good reputable companies. And as a consumer, we need to make sure that we read their labels carefully and be aware that any of these ingredients may also cause an allergic response or an allergic reaction or of a different pattern or an adverse response, or may even interact with the over-the-counter medication or prescribed medications that they are already taking. I know I took it a little bit further from your question, but I'd like to make sure that I address the questions that I saw in the hashtag from a few days ago. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. That's very good advice, Sister Melanie. Actually, we have some questions here from our YouTube live chat, which somewhat relate to what you've already talked about. But Sister Nidel Ibarra is asking about like allergy medicine. Is there one medicine that just fully eliminates allergy symptoms through the year, or is usually there's different types of maybe even the same type of medication that works better than the others?
So the first part of the question, there is no one medication. It's usually a combination of the nasal spray. I mean, it would be fortunate if we can use just one medication, but because, like I said, because of the shared proteins that can cause allergens, sometimes we have to use a little bit more than one or two of the armamentarium of over-the-counter medications that that are available. So because these medications target different parts of the immune system in order to really help with your symptoms, because our immune system has different ways of trying to quote unquote barrier us from these allergens. So that's important to know that the reason for having several different medications is to kind of have what we call a layered type of treatment, so that we can help with the symptoms altogether. So that's the first part. So that the answer to that first part. Now, of course, there are several different medications and other modalities that us physicians can use. We can add what's called a mast cell stabilizer. These are now prescriptions, talking about prescription medications that can really help. Another one is one may be a candidate for allergy testing. That's also another avenue that has helped a lot of allergy symptoms. But of course, this is a little bit more extensive. One is subjected to testing and will be subjected to a series of sensitizations. These are shots that you do on a weekly basis, and of course, these are after consulting with an allergy and immunologist, and sometimes asthma doctors too. So,
Okay, Sister Melanie, all of this is awesome stuff, and thank you so much for the advice. But unfortunately, we're coming towards the end of our show today. Would you like to give some of your personal greetings for us today?
oh, thank you. So I'd like to greet my family, my husband Dennis, my daughters Abby and Annika, and of course my mom, my sisters Michelle, May, and my brother McCoy and their wonderful families, all my nieces and nephews, and to the local of Baltimore and Washington D.C. We are unstoppable.
I love your I love your Melanie energy, Sister Melanie.
We have
You
to.
definitely transferred that to your daughter. If I could mention Sister Abby out there. But anyways, before I pass it to Sister Grace, a few more shout outs. Sister Nidel says happiest birthday to her very sister Eliza Moika. Wow, happy birthday to Sister Allison too. Are you birthday? Both the same birthday? Okay. Sister Kathy Ramirez says happy birthday, Sister Eliza, once again. And then Lazel Soriano says happy birthday, Sister Myrna Mendez. And C. Santiago says, belated happy birthday, Ka Ace. All right, Sister Grace, what's coming up next?
Yes, Brother Ivan, let's check out our recent district activities.
The district multimedia retraining activity last Sunday was so much more than a seminar. The district multimedia officers of Washington, D.C. enjoyed meeting fellow officers across different multimedia teams and experiencing collaboration through training materials, team building exercises, and timed media production challenges. Many thanks to the leadership of the district multimedia team for organizing this activity and facilitating the development of multimedia expertise within the unstoppable district of Washington, D.C.
Giving can be done in so many different ways. The local congregation of Gaithersburg held an INC Giving community cleanup event along Goshen Road in Montgomery Village. Brethren gathered together and met with a county official who provided instructions and supplies. From grandparents to grandchildren, the brethren worked in pairs to pick up litter along the stream that runs near the road. This endeavor was witnessed by numerous passersby who cheered on and applauded the brethren's community service. The efforts of the brethren resulted in the collection of more than 1,200 pounds of litter, with an improvement in the cleanliness of the surrounding area. The brethren from the local congregation of Gaithersburg demonstrated how doing our part to help clean our surroundings can be a simple way to give back to the community and show goodwill to our neighbors.
Here are the upcoming events in our district. Casting call for Find a Way, a musical. We're looking for actors, singers, dancers, musicians of all ages for leads and ensemble. To audition, send a 2 to 5 minutes video performing a monologue, song, dance, or all of the above. Submit your videos to @Ron Menorca on Telegram by Sunday, May 5th, 2024. We're also looking for anyone who can help with the makeup, costume, props, tech, production assistance, etc. Don't miss out on the opportunity if you're looking about taking part. Sign out. Don't regret it when you finally see the show. Back to you, Brother Ivan.
Let's check out what's happening here on INCRadio Washington, D.C. next week.
In need to freshen up your life or your home? Join us in our YouTube live chat as we discuss our favorite spring cleaning hacks on INC Radio Washington, D.C. this Saturday, May 4, 2024 at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
All right. Thank you so much to our guest, Sister Melanie, for joining us today. And thank you so much for their unstoppable support. We'd like to thank our INC Radio Washington, D.C. family for supporting our broadcast, especially to our District Minister, Brother Sidney Santos, our Subsidy President, Brother Angelo Manalo, and of course, a very special greeting to our Executive Minister of the Iglesia our Church of Christ, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you for tuning in to INC Radio, Washington, D.C. Satellite Studio. Stay unstoppable, everybody. And stay safe and get your tissues. Bye.
Happy Saturday!
How's your day? Tara, kape!
Malungkot ka ba? O masaya? O baka stress ka na? Tara, kape!
Dito, you can share your problems with us.
Dito,